Good afternoon, it's 3 o'clock, I'm Saj Rahman with your Solent Sports News headlines. This season's Champions League final could be moved away from St. Petersburg after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. UEFA are actively monitoring Russia's actions and tensions in Eastern Europe. It came about after Vladimir Putin recognised two regions of Ukraine as independent. Wembley cannot host a final as it is preoccupied with the EFL playoff finals. Boris Johnson has spoken on the issue.
I think it inconceivable that major international football tournaments can take place in Russia after, as I say, the invasion of a sovereign country.
I'm joined now by Josh Mann to give us more on the developing situation. Josh, thank you for joining us. What did you make of Boris Johnson's comments on the situation in Ukraine?
Well, I don't think there's a lot to take from them at this point in time because he's only saying what we all already pretty much know. So I wouldn't say there's any concern for the UK at this time.
With the current tensions, could you see UEFA moving the Champions League final, currently set in St. Petersburg?
Well, with Boris saying that Russia would have no chance, in his words, of hosting any major football tournaments, then I'd have to agree with him because with the current situation, I can't see any way Russia will host the Champions League finals with the developments that have happened in the last few days.
Perfect, thank you for that, Josh. Well, regardless, the competition continues today with reigning champions Chelsea hosting Lille at Stamford Bridge this evening. The Blues are heavy favourites tonight as Lille are currently 11th in Ligue 1 despite winning the title last season. Also in football, Southampton FC are experiencing a good run in form in the Premier League. However, there is potentially a controversial reason behind this. Kit McIntosh is live reporting from the St Mary's.
Hi Sash, I'm here at St Mary's Stadium, stood next to the statue of the great Ted Bates, who went down in history for taking Southampton to the First Division. But today, Saints players are going down for an entirely different reason. On Saturday, Southampton picked up a comfortable 2-0 victory over Everton. However, those with a clear eye may have noticed the medical attention needed for Saints players between the 60th and 70th minute. This is not a rare occurrence, as the same has happened in 14 of their 24 Premier League matches. This has raised concerns, with many claiming Southampton players are faking injuries, including former referee chief Keith Hackett.
Thank you, Kit. So what real advantage do the players possibly get from these short breaks in play?
Well, whilst the allegedly injured player receives treatment from the medical staff on the field, often their teammates can be seen rushing to the sideline where they receive energy gels containing maltodextrin. Meanwhile, others receive orders from manager Hassan.
And is this proving to be any benefit so far for the Saints?
Well, in the 14 games that Southampton have appeared to use this tactic, they have achieved a record of 5 wins, 8 draws, and only 1 loss, which is pretty good for Southampton right now. Among those wins is a victory over Tottenham, in which Southampton scored twice within the last 10 minutes of the game, clinching a 3-2 win. So while it cannot be claimed that this is the cause, these late injury breaks certainly are not harming the team.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Kit. Well, football success continues in Southampton as Solent University have a huge week ahead. Solent men's first team play Cardiff men's first for a place in the final of the Western Conference Trophy, while the men's thirds and fourths could set up a university derby in the final, in the lower tier of the competition. In the league, Solent ladies face a crunch match with Bournemouth University, with the winner taking the title. All the matches take place tomorrow. I'm now joined by Solent fourth team player James Humphreys. James, thank you for joining us.
No worries, thank you for having me.
So I hear you were unfortunately injured before this crucial week, so how does it feel to be missing out on such a big game?
Well, obviously I'm very disappointed to be missing out on potentially our biggest game of the season, but the rehab for my ankle's going well. I'm getting stronger each week and I'm sure I'll be back in time for the start of next season.
Perfect. Hopefully you are all okay for next season. How confident are you of the team progressing this week?
Obviously I've got full faith in the boys to get the job done. We've been in great form in the league and we're close to winning the title. So I'm sure we have enough to get over the line.
And say you do make it over the line, what would it mean for you if there was a Solent Classico in the final?
It would be massive, especially considering the rivalry between the third and the fourths. Obviously, we've been back and forth in the league quite a lot. I'll be gutted to miss out, but we beat them 2-0 in the league earlier on in the season, so I'm confident we can get a positive result.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time again. Tennis now. A former world number one believes he can still compete at the top level. Andy Murray came from a set down to defeat Christopher O'Connell in Dubai last night. Following the victory, Murray was adamant he can still compete with the best players on tour. In the next round, he awaits a winner of Alejandro Davidovich Fokina and Yannick Sinner this afternoon. And with more tennis now, here's Joe Hayhurst.
It is a winning return to the tour for the world number one, Novak Djokovic, back on song straight away in Dubai, his first match of the year.
Novak Djokovic returned to tennis with a win at the Dubai Championships on Monday as he defeated Lorenzo Musetti. It comes a month after the Serbian was told he couldn't compete in the Australian Open and was deported from the country as a result of his vaccination status.
I was disappointed, I was sad the way it all played out and the way I left the country. Once I refreshed mentally, emotionally, physically, and once I knew that I am allowed to come here and play, it wasn't that hard for me to get on the court.
Having been prevented from competing in the arena in which he's won the tournament a record 9 times, it begs the question, should all athletes be subject to vaccine mandates, or should the bosses just let the professionals compete? Writer for Il Tennis Italiano, Mario Baccardi, has defended Djokovic.
According to me, this vaccine talking is a little bit stupid, because I think that tennis players are not a risk for public health. So I don't like when former tennis legends or politicians want to make Djokovic as a bad example.
With the recent news regarding Formula 1 making it mandatory for their employees to have the vaccine, should it depend on the sport?
If Djokovic doesn't want to have the vaccination, that's up to him.
This is Hayley James, a clinical scientist at Ipswich Hospital.
And he shouldn't necessarily be forced to do something he doesn't want to do. He obviously feels that he doesn't want to put something inside his body that potentially could be a risk to him. He thinks he's in peak physical condition, and so therefore why would he risk that?
In a wider debate, the English Football League shared data that 25% of players currently have no intention of getting the vaccine. We went out on the streets of Southampton to see what the public thought about sports stars being forced to take the jab.
Leads down to the main thing of your body, your choice, but in aspects to the way it should affect why they should be able to play or not. They was able to play before without a vaccine. Why can't they do it now?
I believe that every person has the choice to get the vaccine if they want to or not, and for whatever reasons they have. But elite athletes who travel the world for competitions, world championships and everything like that should get it.
Joe Hayhurst, Solent Sports News.
Boxing now. Dillian Whyte cut it close in completing negotiations for his WBC heavyweight title fight against Tyson Fury. The 33-year-old had until 6 a.m. this morning to sign, eventually agreeing on earning £5 million while the Gypsy King earned £20 million. Fury has already started the war of words, posting on Twitter this morning.
I'm going to absolutely bust Dillian Whyte like a cheap water balloon, because you're useless, you big dosser. You useless sausage!
Southampton professional boxer Joe Pigford is set to make a long-awaited return this weekend, who will fight Bosnian Jovic Jovanovic in Luxembourg on Saturday night. He's now under SK4 promotions and ends a 736-day wait for a fight. He remains undefeated and holds 16 wins on his records, as he hopes this will outweigh his ring rust. A 2-time Formula 1 champion is confident his car can add more wins to his resume. Fernando Alonso takes part in the first testing taking place in Barcelona tomorrow. The Spaniard is excited for the new regulations that take place in 2022 and believes he can capitalise.
I came back to the sport in 2020 because of these regulations, so it has been 1 year and a half waiting for these cars, and I think the team did an amazing job in the last year, building this car in Enston and Beatty, so we are all very motivated.
That's all from us for now. Remember, you can keep up to date on our website, solentjournalism.co.uk. Thank you for listening.